That's right, Greedo has come a long way from cheesing Phase 3 back in the day. Whether you don't have Supreme Leader Kylo, you're bored of using him, or you're just looking for a way to auto or quickly clear old content, Jabba with Greedo and Boush's Omicron has created an all-new power level for raid teams. While the cost of an Omicron is high, I think it points towards a sort of convenience Omicron type philosophy that I expect CG will continue to pursue with other releases. The execution really just boils down to understanding that you need to slow down at the beginning of the raid to stack Boush's Omicron as much as possible. While I realize that Boush's Omicron says you can use her AoE every turn, this is the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Instead, we need to stack up 20 thermal detonators from her unique, which means that we need other characters or other sources to apply the detonators so that she can add on one extra. And ideally, we want to do this 20 times. What this means is we need to keep the sides alive. We also have the short 3-turn window of opportunity where we can keep stacking them on Nihilus, although with his stacking speed as well as his stacking tenacity, we're really not going to get more than a handful per Nihilus turn. Luckily, we have extra sources of bonus potency from Skiff Lando to be able to give to Boush, and ideally if you want to give her some extra potency in the mods as well, this is some extra ways to give us some extra detonators, but other than that, we really need to focus on maximizing Jabba and Greedo to make sure that they can keep applying detonators to the side characters so we can keep stacking for as much time as we have before the detonators pop. Now, there is a catch, unfortunately. Jabba's ultimate is bugged. He is not giving the team any turn meter where it's supposed to be 50%. And so this ironically makes his ultimate one of the worst moves on the team right now, because the damage output, at least if you're not going crazy on his relics, is some of the worst on the team, and the speed and turn meter that it feeds for multi-hitting enemy raid bosses is also extremely high. So it unfortunately does also nerf his auto output. You know, certainly if you were playing manual, you could choose to avoid it yourself, but it's kind of affected how I tried to auto the raid so far, and I've been playing it a little bit safe, but I've only tried twice. I ended up giving Greedo some extra relics to boot while I was figuring things out. I originally thought that Greedo was going to need tenacity so that he could avoid the debuff penalty from whenever he was assisting. After thinking it through a bit more after the first run though, it seemed pretty apparent that it doesn't matter if Nihilus is stealing, you know, say a 15,000 protection size shield if everyone is hitting him for hundreds of thousands to upwards of 1 million later in the raid, meaning that Greedo could go back to modding for more damage. So I'm not sure if R8 Greedo is needed or if it could possibly be R7 or even R6, because the Greedo that I had originally was way more modded for tenacity than actual damage mods and output. The auto that I ran currently started in phase 2, halfway through after I manually stacked the detonators at the start of the phase. I don't know if this is necessary. It completed the raid with 6 turns left before Enrage, which makes me feel like it probably could have done fine on its own. Really just, it's going to be a mix of finding how early the auto can go. You know, certainly I think even theoretically you could possibly auto in phase 1 at some point after doing your manual stack, and Nihilus will annihilate Chrysanthemum, but maybe you don't even need Chrysanthemum to be alive for the rest of the raid as long as the auto can get it done. There's a lot of questions on that front, but really I think until the bug gets fixed, I'm not too optimistic on anything in phase 1 being possible. Certainly earlier in phase 2, it seems all but guaranteed with how much leeway we had left. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the sky is kind of the limit. This is one of those weird things about this raid team is whereas Supreme Leader Kylo and Commander Tano have to stack manually at the start of each phase, in this, once you stack once, that is it. You are just going, you are done. That's why the auto is so effective. There is no optimal play. There is only damage output. It is, if I'm being honest, it's just a hell of a lot of fun. How often do you see 2 million, 1.5 million damage Greedo basics just popping off repeatedly? And hey, autoing Sith Raid, that's certainly nice as well. That's going to be it for this video. I'm going to let the full run play now. We're not really too focused on making this a guide yet because I'm still figuring things out. But hopefully, if anyone else is interested in this, they can pick up the ball and run with it as well, do some experimentation, and I'm going to write that bug report to CG because once this gets fixed, once Jabba's ult can actually feel like an ultimate rather than the worst move on the team, I think things will only get better. Anyway, enjoy the footage. Take care.